Hey movie fans! Well, we're getting very close to that special time of year again. Summer movie season. Yeah, it's less than a month away that we get to May, and May is really like the start of the big summer movie season. It's getting sooner and sooner. So today, I wanted to count down my top 5 most anticipated movies of this summer. Starting us off at number 5, we have Disney Pixar's Inside Out. Now, when I first heard about this, I wasn't overly impressed just because Pixar movies, as of late, can be a bit hit or miss. But the premise of this actually sounds like it could be a big hit if done correctly. It basically shows the different emotions inside someone's head, characterized as kind of individuals, with like anger, joy, sadness, and so on and so forth. It really seems to have a great voice cast, with Lewis Black being anger. That writes itself. That's just brilliant casting right there, because Lewis Black is like the embodiment of anger. At number 4, we have Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Now, I'm really excited about this because I loved Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. It was one of the surprise hits for me. And I really credit that to director Brad Bird, who got famous for doing The Incredibles, The Iron Giant, which is still to this day one of the most underrated cartoon movies of all time. Not just a kid's movie, it's an everybody movie. Brad Bird really constructed a great movie for Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. And while he's not directing Rogue Nation, I do have enough faith in the franchise, and there's enough of the returning cast from Ghost Protocol that I'm really interested in this story. But there is, however, another Brad Bird directed movie that I'm looking forward to a lot this summer, and that is Tomorrowland. I'm very excited about this movie because I still do not know that much about it. And that makes me really excited. The first trailer, where the girl in the trailer holds up this pin and shows this whole other world, that really hooked me in. All the trailers and the footage that I've seen so far from it just looks fantastic and gorgeous. Yet I'm still very curious as to what the story is. It sounds like it's a really fun and action-packed movie. How much resemblance it actually bears to the Disney area in Disney World and Disneyland, Tomorrowland, is yet to be seen. But knowing the Disney formula, hopefully it's one of the better Disney live-action movies and not another repeat of some other lesser known and not as well done live-action Disney movies. But it will be hard for it to be the number 1 movie of this summer's box office, as there seems to be countless big hits coming. Hopefully, our number 2 spot will be a hit and not a big flop, which I fear at times that it might be, but I'm hoping it'll be a success. What I'm referring to, obviously, is Jurassic World. Now, I do have my apprehensions about Jurassic World, I won't lie, and that's because I did not enjoy the Jurassic Park sequels. But every trailer that I'm getting kind of gives me that vibe more so of the original 1993 Jurassic Park than the other 2 sequels that we try not to talk about because they're terrible. This one seems to have some of that same life and some of that same fun, while the second half of all the trailers kind of rain this new terror. Well, it brings back some of the terror of all the dinosaurs and monsters running loose on the island. That same feel of the very first movie, and that really hooked us into the first story. So it seems like it could really work for this time around. I love the first Jurassic Park. It's one of my favorite movies. I could watch that over and over again because the visual effects still hold up. I really have faith that this franchise could get back to what it was. Hopefully. I do think Chris Pratt is just the right guy. They got him at just the right moment in his career. Chris Pratt is like the biggest name in Hollywood right now, coming off Guardians of the Galaxy and one of my personal favorites from last year, the Lego Movie, which still does not get the credit it deserves. Come on, people! But Jurassic World should theoretically be fun. And hopefully that mystery dinosaur or whatever actually ends up being scary and being a terrifying force of nature and not just a mishmash of random dinosaurs that were there to sell toys. Because let's be honest, that's kind of what Jurassic Park is all about. Selling stuff. But Jurassic World and the Jurassic Park franchise doesn't sell nearly as much toys and merchandise as our number 1. But before we get to our number 1, let's look at some honorable mentions that I couldn't fit in because I really wanted to make it a top 5. But these 3 movies, they need to be talked about at least. I'm very much looking forward to Mad Max Fury Road. The trailers have all looked really, really cool. Plus, I'll be perfectly honest, I'm mostly looking forward to this movie because theoretically that's when we should get our first look at the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice trailer. So yeah, that's basically why I'm going to go see that movie. I'm also really, really excited for Minions. I don't know how well they'll hold up on their own for a whole movie, but I really like them as supporting characters in the Despicable Me movies. They're adorable. Who doesn't love the Minions? It's whether or not they can make their own movie and make it stand out. I have faith in the franchise though. I think they know what they're doing. And lastly, for our honorable mentions, this may surprise you, but I have Poltergeist. Now, I hate reboots, remakes, anything of that nature, because generally it diminishes the value of the original by just making a cardboard copy and looks just terrible. This actually is terrifying. From all the trailers I've seen, it's giving me the heebie-jeebies, and I don't say heebie-jeebies that often. This legitimately looks creepy, especially for a PG-13 horror. Now, PG-13 horror movies are hard to get right, but with Sam Rockwell as one of the main actors, and just a creepy trailer and vibe basing off one of the most successful, scary movies of all time, I think this remake may actually work. But we'll see when it actually comes out. So, what is the #1 most anticipated summer blockbuster of this season, in my eyes? Well, it's no surprise here. It's the one that's going to launch us into the summer movie season, Avengers Age of Ultron. I really, really enjoyed Avengers, the first one. As did apparently some other people, because it kind of made over $1 billion, in case you didn't know that. I've loved all the Marvel movies up until this point, except for Iron Man 2 and bits and pieces of the first Captain America. It was just meh. But this movie seems to be awesome. Ultron looks like a devastating force of nature, and one of the big weaknesses I've thought so far of most Marvel movies is very, very weak villains, except for Loki in Avengers. But Ultron, I think, is going to shatter the mold. I think he'll blow Loki out of the water. Ultron's voice alone is terrifying. But just, he looks unstoppable. Now, I'm kind of just wondering who's going to get out of this movie alive. I do think we're going to get several character deaths. Or at least, I'm hoping for it. I'm actually going to go out on a limb and say that this Avengers will harken back to the days of Empire Strikes Back. Of having a really fun and successful first movie, and then cranking it up for the second one and making it dark and more just in your face and intense, while still making a really fun and enjoyable movie. And I think it'll set the stones for the later Marvel movies like Captain America Civil War, and start laying the foundations for Infinity Wars Part 1 and Part 2. And I think this one will be even better than the first one. I know that's a lot of hype, that's a lot of pressure to put on a movie, but I think it will succeed. What do you guys think? What movies are you most looking forward to this summer movie season? Which ones are you looking forward to? Which ones are you not? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you see and you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. Or find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 17 Movie Reviews. Stay sharp, movie guys and gals.